Kamaru Usman rematching Jorge Masvidal in a sold-out Jacksonville, Florida stadium.
Ooh, baby.
Pay-per-view event. Looking forward to this one.
Ooh, baby. It's going to be big numbers.
But what are you looking for in this rematch with Usman and Masvidal? Last time they fought, it was obviously on short notice for Masvidal. He said if he had a full camp, he was going to beat him. It was a pretty one-sided in the first fight. Obviously, we love Jorge Masvidal, but, you know, even on short notice, a lot of these guys stay in pretty good shape year-round. So I'll be curious to see if the full training camp makes a difference for Masvidal in this one. What are you looking for?
I'll start right there. It will make a difference. It will make a difference. It'll be more competitive. It'll be more that. I'll put my reputation on the line, even though, again, I'm not a UFC guy, but whatever it is, my reputation in the fight world, I'll put on the line. It's going to be more competitive. Matter of fact, I'll go even further. I think it could be an upset. Yeah, I know how great Usman is. I know how great he is. I do, and how physical he is, and how great he is on the floor, on the mat, and how determined he is, how tough he is, how he's been hurt and he's come back. What a great chin he has. What great heart he is. What a great warrior he is. You know, and again, his physicality is unbelievable. His preparation, unbelievable. His conditioning, his cardio, unbelievable. I get it. But I saw something. Remember Max Schmeling when he fought Joe Louis the first time? The great Brown Bomber, the great Joe Louis, wasn't world champion yet. He was on his way up, undefeated, and he was fighting Max Schmeling, this fighter from Germany. Max Schmeling was a hell of a fighter. And of course, Joe Louis is a big favorite. And back then, boxing was the biggest sport in the country, Ken. Biggest sport. So all the press. And right away, they go to Schmeling. Well, do you think you got a chance here, you know? I mean, you're fighting Joe Louis. Looks like he's going to be one of the greats. And he says, I see something. And boy, oh boy, he was right. He knocked out Louis. I think it was late in the fight. I don't know if it was the ninth or I forget what round it was, but he hit him all night with right hands. He saw something. He saw that Louis had, at that time, and he had the great Jackie Blackburn as a trainer, who was a great fighter himself. What a great team they were. Oh, my God. And Blackburn really was part of Louis's success as a trainer. He really was. He developed Louis. And Louis was obviously a special fighter. My favorite heavyweight of all time. I know you're going to attack me, Muhammad Ali, but listen, I do have the choice of who I think is the great. Ali's number 2. Joe Louis, the great Joe Louis, is before the great Muhammad Ali. But anyway, he saw something, Schmeling. He noticed that Louis used to lay on his right, which he really shouldn't do. And sometimes, kind of like we talked about Paul doing to Askren, sometimes when he threw the jab, he left himself open to a counter right hand. And Schmeling had a real good counter right hand. He was a good puncher. So he noticed that sometimes he laid on the right. You should finish on the left because you're outside the right hand. When you lay in the right, you're in the lane, the traffic lane of the right hand, as I tell fighters. So he was laying over on the right, and he was throwing a jab at a predictable pace, too slow, where you could time it, and from a little too close. And Schmeling knew he could time it, and he did. He timed it, and he timed it all night. And he wound up stopping the great Joe Louis. Joe Louis later on, 2 years later, came back and after winning the title against James Braddock, he revenged that loss. He said he wasn't champion. That's how proud Joe Louis was. He said, I will not be champion. Of course he was champion. I will not be champion until I beat Schmeling. I will not be champion. Don't call me champion until I beat Schmeling. Well, he did. On the eve of World War II, on the eve with Nazi Germany and a maniac named Hitler saying that he's got the superior race, he's going to take over the world, all this freaking crap, all this danger in the air, all of it. And here's Joe Louis fighting Schmeling with a guy who had knocked him out. He's fighting him for the heavyweight title, the biggest title in the world at the time, in Yankee Stadium, outside with the world watching. Wow, you talk about pressure, people? You think there was a little pressure there? And the president of the United States called Joe Louis and said, Joe, you got to win this. Joe, you got to win this for the good guys. I mean, you talk about pressure. What a man. But anyway, and what a fighter. So he, of course, revenged that loss. What did he do in Yankee Stadium 2 years later? Well, he annihilated Max Schmeling. He destroyed him. He knocked him out in one round. I mean, it was unbelievable. You're talking about the Germans, they had the blitzkrieg. Well, he blitzed them. It was really something else. So I thought I saw something in the first Usman fight. I understood that he wasn't in top shape. And again, I love Usman, but I understood that I love Masvidal too. And I understood that Masvidal is, well, he's a different character. He's a whole different personality, a whole different, obviously, a whole different character, if you will. He's a promoter. He's a guy that, Usman's more of a serious, controlled, laid-back kind of guy that's just very confident, very proud, as Masvidal is too. But Masvidal is more of a guy that'll kick it around, get it going with talking and with promotional stuff, and of course Usman is more about what he does in the octagon, like my talking is with these, and with the kicks and with whatever it is. So, but they're both terrific. And I noticed in that first fight, I understood what I was looking at. I'm looking at a guy who took the fight on 5-6 days notice. He doesn't have a full tank of gas. And when you don't have a full tank of gas, what do? You coast. You coast sometimes. You can't be hitting the gas pedal all the time. And I noticed that there was a spot. I can't remember what round it was. Maybe it was the first round. I'm not sure. But Ken, there was a spot where on his feet, where Masvidal has to be to win this fight. He's got to be on his feet. He's got to strike for the most part. I know he's good at preventing takedowns and escaping takedowns. He's gotten very good at that. But that's his forte, is not to be on the mat. That's going to go to Usman if they're going to wind up there. If Usman gets that geography of the cage, then he's going to win if he gets there. But Masvidal, I saw early on in spot where he was standing where he needed to, where he was going to have his only chance to win, where he was standing in a striking pose, and he landed a straight right hand. And I know this sounds crazy, but for a split flash there, I saw Ali and Foreman in Zaire, where Foreman's the stronger guy, of course, and he's always coming in trying to get close, kind of like Usman, and all of a sudden, Ali, and then I think it was the 8th round, he strikes out with a right hand and catches him. And then just for a split second, he catches Foreman. But then Ali had enough in the gas tank. Of course, he was fully prepared. And he unleashed 3-4 more punches after that, 5 more punches after that combination. And all of a sudden, what happened? Foreman started to go down. He started to pirouette. Maybe Rob will get that up. It'll be a beautiful visual for us. But he started to pirouette around the ring, and he went down. And the great Ali did the unthinkable. He knocked out the undefeated great monster puncher George Foreman in Zaire at 4 o'clock in the morning. Unbelievable. Talk about historic fights. So there was just a flash moment. Because, again, it would have been a huge underdog. It would have been a huge upset if Masvidal pulled it off, especially under those circumstances, right, Ken? Would have been a huge upset. All of a sudden, I saw that. I saw the right hand land. I said, oh, there's a window. There's an opportunity for a Ali Foreman moment. But no, because unlike Ali, who could follow up with those 3, 4, 5 punches to finish the job, Masvidal couldn't do that. He wasn't able to do that. He didn't have it in the gas tank to do that. And not only with the punches, but with the legs. Because to do that, Ali moved his legs so Foreman couldn't fall into him. So Foreman couldn't. He kept that separation. And that's what Masvidal has to do to win. Not just with his hands, but with his legs. He's got to have fresh legs. He's got to have good legs. Of course, a good sense of distance and range, of keeping the guy where he needs to keep Usman. He needs to do that. But geography, control of geography at all times. But he needs his legs. He needs fresh legs. And he didn't have fresh legs. He needs to be able to move off to the side and keep Usman reaching, keep Usman from closing the gap, and then keep the hands going. And if he can do that now, that he's going to go in there with a full tank of petrol, a full tank of gas, guess what? I think he could take that moment a little further. I think he could take that moment a little further. Yeah, I think maybe he can. I've seen Usman hurt, and if Masvidal hurts him, I'll tell you, unlike what I was talking earlier about, having to be a better finisher, and some guys have the ability to be a finisher, they have the instincts to be a finisher. Masvidal has those instincts. He has those instincts to be a finisher. And if Masvidal can do that, if he can open that crack, in Usman just a little bit, where he gets that straight right hand in there, and he gets that effect, before Usman can recover and maybe get in close, I could see Masvidal using his legs to get to the side and keep that stream of punches going, where it could take him maybe to an upset. Maybe. It's not going to be easy, but I could see the possibilities of that. And I really can. And the final thing is the mental state. A lot of people say, well, he lost the first time, Ted. Listen, I have to think. Again, I'm in this business. That's all I've ever done my whole life. In the fight business. I did paint one house. I did. I was 18 years old. I painted a house upstate at Custis, and I did a good job, Ken. So anyway, the mental state is so important. His mental state could not have been good. And I'm talking about Masvidal. Maybe to survive and do what he had to do. But it could not have been great going in there with 6 days notice. He did what he had to do. He got paid and he survived. He did what he had to do. He did. And nobody else says that they wouldn't try to do the same damn thing. And it took something special. It took a special guy just to do what he did. Yeah, just to get through that with a beast like Usman, like my son says when he's being complimentary of those football players, that he's looking for with the Raiders. By the way, I gotta say, Raiders, baby, the draft a week away. The draft is coming, baby. Teddy Atlas III and Mike Mayock and Gruden and the whole scouting team, everyone, they're ready, baby. The Raiders are coming, baby. All right, I digress. So, getting back to this, you had to be special. Masvidal had to be a special guy mentally, Ken, to be physically too, but mentally to go in there that compromised with 6 days notice. And like I said with my son, he would always say when he gets one of these great guys, these tremendous guys that are running 4.3 40s and under 4.3s, and he says that they're beasts. And like I said, he says it with the most complimentary love you can say it. They are beasts, Dad. This guy's a beast. I said, once he says a guy's a beast, I'm marking the guy down. I said, this guy's going to be special. And that's what Masvidal was in there with. He was in there with Usman, a beast. And he was in a compromised state, physically and mentally, because you can't be 100% mentally when you know you're not right. You know you're not what you want to be. Yet, he had to be a special son of a gun to do what he did under those circumstances and still be standing. Really, it was remarkable. A lot of people probably don't look at.
Not only last minute, but it was over in the Middle East, so he had to take a huge long flight.
No time to acclimate.
Yeah, typically you need 1 day per hour of time change when traveling to, especially for an athletic endeavor.
No time to acclimate, 100%.
Yep.
No, you're so right, Ken. I mean, he had so much going against him. And the only thing going for him was the person he was. Really.
Yep.
And he showed that. So now here he is with full time to be prepared. I have to think that he's going to be, again, a lot of people say the upper hand mentally will be Usman. He won the first time. I'm gonna differ a little bit. I'm not gonna say Usman's gonna not be what he always is, which is 100% confident as a warrior that he is, a champion that he is, a proud man as he is. But I'm gonna say that Masvidal is gonna be really good mentally. I'm gonna say that he's gonna say, hey, kind of what Teddy's talking about. If I could do what I did, knowing how compromised I was, and he knows how compromised he was, knowing how compromised I was and unprepared I was, if I could do what I did and survive and go through what I was, wow, I can win this. I can win this. I think that's where he's going to be mentally. I really do. I think he's going to say, kind of like Schmeling, I saw something. I see something here. And I think now he'll be prepared to execute it. And I think that mentally he's going to be in that place. He's going to be, yeah, wow, I watch me now. Watch me. If I did what I did before, watch what I can do now. So I think it's going to be a very, very, very interesting fight. Contrasting styles, very contrasting styles, contrasting personalities. I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
Yeah, I am as well. And that'll be a good one. The UFC never disappoints. Good competitive matchup, a lot of bad blood. I'm excited for that one.